Hi everybody, I am Thatnursingprof and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about therapeutic communication for the patient with dementia. Now, if you are in nursing school and you're in fundamentals, you're probably going to be in the nursing home setting or an assisted living type setting, and you will absolutely be dealing with patients who have dementia. If you're further on and you're in like your Med-Surg 1 or even Med-Surg 2, guess what? You're still going to have patients who have dementia. So it's really important that we learn good therapeutic communication. Nursing is two things, right? It's the science and the art. So we have like the physical skills, the hard skills like how to put in a Foley, but then we also have the soft skills, okay? So therapeutic communication is one of our soft skills that we need to practice. So I made this video, hopefully it will help you with your therapeutic communication when taking care of the patient population with dementia. So let's get into it. So first things first, you want to be positive, okay? So always come in with a positive attitude when you're talking to these patients. If you're negative, they will feel that and they will also get negative. Keep it brief, so you're not going to come in and do this big long-winded thing, okay? If you're doing an admission or something that does take a lot of time, break it up, okay? Do it in chunks. But if you're giving some sort of education, keep it brief, keep it simple. Familiarity. So talk about things that are familiar to them. Use analogies, okay? Talk about things that they understand or can relate to, okay? If you're describing their health condition, you're talking about diabetes or you're talking about high blood pressure or something, relate it to something they understand. Don't talk down to them. And I know people don't do this on purpose. I'm sure you're not doing it to be mean, but there is a tendency when somebody doesn't understand you is to kind of talk down to them like they're children almost. These are not children, right? They are your elders and you should talk to them respectfully. So don't talk down to them. No need to shout. This is another thing I see often. So your patient is demented, not necessarily deaf or hard of hearing. So just because they're a little confused and they don't understand you doesn't mean you need to yell everything at them. That's not helping them. Sarcasm and irony. Unless you know this patient really well, you've taken care of them a lot, and you know that's kind of like their personality, I would avoid it, because if they don't understand it, they're not going to get it, and it's going to get you in trouble, and you're probably going to upset your patient. So stay away from sarcasm and the use of ironic statements when you're talking to a demented patient. Limit distractions, okay? So if you're doing your assessment or something like that, make sure you're doing it in a private area, maybe like their room, and not somewhere where there's lots of distractions like at the med cart or the common room or something like that where there's people and other things around. So do your best to limit those distractions for them so they can pay attention to you. Speak slowly. I know I don't do that. I'm sure in this video you're watching this going, slow down. Yes. Speak slower, and if you're like me who is a fast talker and a hand talker like I am, it's hard, right? But you have to practice it. So speak slower so that they can hear and give them time to understand. Don't forget to smile, of course, when you come into the room, greet them, good morning, Mr. Johnson, or whatever. Be smiley, be happy, be in a good mood. That's going to help them because they'll feed off your negative energy, right? If you're in a bad mood or whatever, they'll feel that. So you want to approach from the front and never the back or the side because you don't want to frighten them. If they get upset for whatever reason, acknowledge the fact that they're upset, acknowledge their feelings, right? Because we don't want to just say, oh, you're crying, hey, look at this, it's a distraction, right? That's not going to work. That's not going to work positively in your favor. So what you want to do is say, I see that you're upset, I see that you're crying, or whatever. Okay, acknowledge their feelings and then redirect them into something more positive. Using their name is a good memory tool for them. So calling them Mrs. Johnson or Mary or whatever their name is, that's a memory trigger for them and that helps them to remember. If they get mad, don't make it worse, okay? So it doesn't matter what they're mad about, okay? Just let them be mad. If they're doing something dangerous or that's going to put themselves in some sort of harm, obviously we're going to intervene. But we're not going to get into a fight with these people, right? Don't get into it with them. Okay? And if they're wrong, kind of the same here. If they're wrong, let them be wrong. Okay? You don't need to win an argument with a demented patient, okay? They might be saying something to you that is completely ridiculous, okay? Let them say it. Let them say it, because what's it going to do, right? If it's not going to cause harm to you and it's not going to cause harm to them, let them be wrong, because then they'll move on, okay? You can redirect them into something else, but please never get into an argument with a demented patient. There's no reason for that. There are 10 rules of therapeutic communication when it comes to taking care of patients with dementia. So let's get into those. Okay, so now I wanted to talk about like the 10 commandments or the 10 big rules when it comes to therapeutic communication with the demented patient. The first one is always agree and never argue. I just talked about that before. There's no point, okay? Don't bother having an argument with them. You're just going to upset them. Just agree and move on, redirect. Always redirect, never reason, okay? So if they're saying something that's completely, out of nowhere, like they're seeing things in the room or they're having hallucinations, that kind of thing, don't sit there and say, well, Margaret, that's not there because of X, Y, and Z, right? Because you're just going to make them mad, right? So don't reason with them. Don't try to get into it with them or correct them. Just redirect them in that moment, okay? Redirect them to something else. Distract, don't shame. So if they're not doing something or if they're, acting clearly confused about something, don't say, are you confused? Do you not understand? Right? Don't make them feel bad about the fact that they're confused about something. Redirect them, okay? Distract them with something else. Reassure, don't lecture. Again, not talking to them like they're children, right? These are our elders, these are adults. We don't need to tell them, you need to be doing this, this, and this, right? We're not going to be lecturing them. Don't say the word remember. For some elderly people with dementia, the word remember is a trigger word, okay? It makes them feel bad because they can't remember. So, do you remember this, Mary? And they go, no. Or they do something wrong and you go, remember, we're not supposed to do that, right? And they go, I can't remember, right? It's very upsetting for them, for some people, if you use the word remember. So maybe try to avoid that. Repeat yourself. Always repeat yourself and never say, I just told you that. And I know it can get frustrating because you have to do it over and over and over again, but so freaking what? Do it over and over and over again, okay? Don't say, I just told you that, or I'm not going to tell you that again. There's no reason for that. So if they don't understand, repeat yourself. Repeat yourself 100 times if you have to, okay? That's all about being respectful to the patient. Be encouraging to them, okay? Don't make them feel like I can't do anything because I have dementia. Encourage their strengths, the things that they can do. Ask them things if they need you to do something, like, hey Mary, can you please pick this up for me? Or can you, go to the other side of the bed? Encourage them to do things and ask them to help you. Don't tell them they have to do things. Don't command them. Because again, they're not children and we're not talking to them like children. Praise them when they do things. So we've encouraged them, we've asked them to do something, they were able to do it, that's awesome. Give them appropriate praise for that. Don't condescend. Don't say, oh, well, look at you, you did it all by yourself, good for you. Okay, we're not going to talk to the elderly like that. It's not appropriate. So praise them when appropriate. And then finally, reinforce. So things we would reinforce, teaching. Okay, so reinforce, repeat, they kind of go hand in hand. A couple of other just like random things I wanted to make sure I mentioned in this video is you should definitely encourage them to reminisce. Reminisce about happy moments in their life, getting married, having babies, or, positive things from when they were kids. They'll like that. That'll be a good thing. And the other thing is if they are having some sort of hallucination or delusion or something like that, if they say, oh, look, there's Elvis over there in the corner, you should never play into that hallucination. So you're not going to go, oh, hi, Elvis, I'm the nursing student. Don't do that. Okay, that would be incredibly inappropriate. If they are acting that way, please redirect them. So the big takeaways from this, always be respectful. Don't be afraid to repeat yourself. And yeah, this is a skill. It takes time. You need to learn it just like any other skill. It takes practice. But the good thing about nursing school is you're going to get a lot of practice. So that's a good thing. I hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. If not, I'll see you on the next one.